I'm Dorothy Truths. And before you say anything, I know what you're thinking. I know what they're thinking. I know the question you want to ask or the exclamation that you want to make if you haven't had already. And this is not the color I'm going to use in this show. I mean, I just know. You have to try things out. You have to be experimental. You have to be audacious. You have to be willing to try things that might turn out utterly wrong. Like this color. Right? But we're nothing if the Truth family is known for awkwardness, audacity, and something else that begins with an A. I can't remember what it is. It's pretty important, I'm sure. So, the day of the show, I like to take a nice bath. A nice warm bath. You know, I mean a hot bath if it was cold out. You know, it's not. It's a summer day in the Berkshires, and it's not hot by any means, but if you get out in the sun, it's pretty hot. Obviously, I'm inside it's an old circus trailer that we refurbed for the Death Yourself show. There's enough room for me and a human traveling companion, I should say. And there's room for any number of minions, really. Who knows? I'm not even sure if they take up any space, real space at all. They might be like dark matter. You know they're there. I mean, I work with them every day. I even have got the minions. Some of them, the ones who have the capacity, as I judge it. I'm sending them to community classes. Yeah, well, community classes at the community college is what I mean to say. Because I mean, the community colleges are really people don't know what they're missing. I mean, besides the fact that you might get a class with a minion, which is not going to happen at your big-time state universities. You're going to get older people out of the services, retired people in their 30s or 40s, you know, trying to start or hone up their new career. Excuse me. And so, it's a perfect place for the minions to take your English, you know, what they call those classes where you got to brush up on your skills. So the minions don't have any skills really to speak up, to brush up on, but it did not. I mean, English is a second language. I put some of them there in English as a second language, but you know, it irritates them for some reason. I can't tell why. But, you know, it's like it's a pride thing, I guess you could say. They just don't. So I put them in the, you know, those classes for people that need to kind of make up for lost time. The minions, I mean, most of them, in a certain sense, I mean, until they start working with us, kind of in a human sense, they don't experience any time anyway. So how could they lose it, right? But they feel that way. So you know, it's a lot of work working with these minions and their feelings. I mean, you know, I could just say, you know, what feelings, and if they have them, who cares? I mean, that I hesitate to say this at all, just because, you know, it could be read wrong. But that was the way Todd, death, the previous death. That's the way he handled that situation, and it wasn't out of meanness or callousness or anything like that. It was more just, you know, a lack of knowledge and a lack of a heart. You know, he's kind of an immortal entity that didn't just. It wasn't possible for him to have those feelings, and so when this is a terrific spoiler here, but who cares? I know nobody out there can remember anything, so I might as well say it. When Todd comes to life and is able to experience those things, that's when he goes, oh, not any feelings of remorse about how he treated the minions or anybody else, for that matter. Just that, you know, he just saw another dimension. That's a good way to put it, I think. Another dimension, one of feelings, you know. Imagine him in a Rod Serling voice, but another dimension of feeling, of emotion, of caring, of compassion. once he experienced it, he just filled it up, kind of like, as if it were a dimension. He occupied it fully from end to end. It was fascinating to watch. And so that's, the minions do that on a much, macro, micro, nano scale, because that's what they were compared to death. But it's a big deal for them, and they need help, and usually I'm the one. Until I get some more of the minions who have been at it longer, trained in this, and also some of the waitresses from Denny's have come to work for us here at Death, the new Death. And they obviously have great, they are like master psychologists. Any good waitress, that's the equivalent of a PhD in psychology. Psychology in action, right? So, yeah, I'm getting ready for the show. I got kind of distracted, and I got another leg to shave here, but I don't usually have any trouble continuing to talk. I used to think I was kind of a semi-autistic Asperger's type person, because my mother said that, she said this about Douglas, but it was true about me too, even more so, which was that she didn't think we were going to speak until, ever. We just never uttered a word here in the human realm for years. And I know why, just like a sense of horror, a sense of dark, bottomless terror at being in such a place where such people lived and so forth. But eventually, we figured out that we just had to join in and engage. And for me, it's been a long, lifelong process of doing that. So at this point in my life, I don't see any inhibition worth having. The only inhibition worth having is one where you're inhibited from hurting people. That's the only sin. I shouldn't say the only sin, but it's there's a lot of which aren't, but hurting people, that definitely qualifies as a no-no. Yeah, so Todd, it's hard for, this is like the sequel to the show. This is like mega spoilers. You guys can take this right out to Reddit or one of the internet sites, many internet sites for rumors about big stars like me. Dorothy Truths is working on a sequel to An Intimate Evening with Death herself. Maybe a long hot summer day working in a inner city car wash with Death herself, or a hectic hour before brunch with Death herself. Picture like a fancy house out in the country, and it's a brunch. Everybody's going to come to listen to Dorothy talk like the way they do. But everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. How it's not a warning by any means, but it's almost like a prayer before the shows that I do that no one dies during the performances. So, not the least of the reasons is that I'll be pulled from doing the show, which is one of my duties. I'll be pulled from that duty into another duty, which is like administering to the dying, because that is that's what I do. So yeah, when your contract, when your number, literally it is a number that comes up. It's a work order. It has your first name on it, not the it's not like a legal document. It has your first name in case one of the minions has time or inclination to address you. So, which often doesn't happen because it is a very hectic and disturbing for many people moment, the dying thing, which is what we're working on. That's not the whole point. But one of the main reasons that I'm putting it together with the minions and Claudette from the Denny's and all the people that we're starting to work with, and our associate minions are like people who work in emergency rooms where people die with frequency, and hospice workers, and the chaplains in hospitals and chaplains on battlefields, if they aren't like the warmongering, God bless our troops, but kill the other ones. Those kind of people, those are associate minions, and that is whether they know it or not, whether they're aware of their status or not. Most of them are not, and they don't need to be. It's a very exalted position. Leave you me. The positions that our culture says are exalted and treats as such, with almost complete 100% matching, are not really exalted. They're just a bunch of shit. Like when Firesign Theater's version of the game show, where you pick behind, that's door number 2 or door number 3 or door number 1, gonna pick. And behind one of those doors is a fantastic prize, and behind the other doors are not. And so the woman picks door number 3, and she's told that she's won this fantastic prize, and she goes down to the stage to get her prize, and she looks at it and she goes, but this is just a bag of shit. And the announcer says, yes, but it's really good shit. So, I don't know whether it's really good or not, this shit, but at the end of our lives, a lot of things will be inverted. What we thought was important turns out not to be. And what most of us hardly had any time for, is the important thing. Were the important things. Are the important things. So, I'm starting to preach. I can feel it coming on. So, for your protection and comfort, I'm going to end the broadcast in a second. First of all, I'm Dorothy Truth, and I'm getting prepared. I'm shaving. If you couldn't figure that out, I know this is rather, I don't know if it's risque. It's certainly not provocative. I imagine for most of you it's the opposite of provocative, but I do what I can. All right. So, Intimate Evening with Death Herself. The show is going to be at the. I'll put the show up because I might use this video later for other shows, but I'm in Great Barrington, soon to be in New York State and then City. And just remember, kindness is always possible. It really is. So give it a go. All right, take care. Dorothy Truth out.